Hello, Mgtow. Hello, men. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. So this is going to be a long talk about Mgtow, culture, society, women, relationships, and men understanding the philosophy behind Mgtow. This is a new video. And yeah, I'm outdoors, so ignore the background noises, right? You know, this is how strong the commitment has to be. You know, I'll stand out here in the rain outside of a McDonald's to use the public Wi-Fi. So let's talk about this situation. Is Mgtow a movement or a philosophy? Because I read your comments, and this is an important subject and topic to a lot of you guys. And I knew it would be, right? First of all, let me say something and understand this, okay? I am not here to tell another man what to think, what to say, what to do. I am here to ask some questions. I am here to offer some of my experience in this situation. Now, before you become dismissive towards this idea, all right, this is the Socratic Method, okay? Asking questions, asking people to clarify their positions, okay? And they killed him for it, okay? They made him drink hemlock. So this is no joke, okay? A lot of legislative bodies actually forbid this method of interaction, the Socratic method, because it is so potentially incendiary. Now, you know, I've just been getting back here on YouTube and creating content. I'm also putting up some of my old content too. And surprisingly, I really have to put up the mild stuff. You know what I mean? Like I'm listening, you know, I'm going through some of my old stuff and I'm like, yeah, this was a great one, you know? And I'm like, oh, no, I can't put that up here. Okay, so the window of what is acceptable is shifting more and more away from free speech and men, okay? Don't be trying to use in-group shaming tactics against me to determine what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say. Mgtow is a big tent, okay? There's room for all men. We're all different. We all bring different levels of experience. We're all at different ages. We've all been through different things. You know, some men are just coming up, right? And some men have really been through, you know, the ringer. They've been through divorce. They've been through false accusations. They've lost jobs. They've been in jail. Okay, so it is this diversity, this wide range of experience and knowledge that men need to share. And yes, Mgtow is a philosophy. And, you know, a lot of people just throw that word around, right? It was like, oh, Howard, you're not allowed to say this. You're not allowed to say that. It's a philosophy, okay? And you need to understand, it would be helpful if you were to study the origins of this philosophy, okay? Because it's deeper, okay? It is the basis of individual rights, of freedom of speech. Most of human history, they didn't allow this, okay? They shut it down, and you understand why. The powers that be, they love their power, and anything that's a threat to it, they come down on it, all right? So don't be coming down on me for asking these questions. Now, I spoke about this in my other long talk video, and it's pretty deep, okay? It's your metaphysical or man's metaphysical outlook on the world, because there's really only three basic ones going on here. We combine them, we switch between them from time to time. But let me just summarize, okay, what we're talking about here. The first basic metaphysical outlook on the world is force, right? This is how people interact with the world. Most of human history has been determined by force. People don't build empires, they conquer empires, okay? And if you don't go along with those people that are powerful, they will hurt you, okay? It's not just physical force, right? They'll false accusations against you, okay? Relational aggression against you. Institutional aggression against you. Shaming tactics against you. In-group bias against you, okay? Force. If you don't go along, if you don't do what you're told, if you don't cooperate with the status quo, they're gonna hurt you. This is a basic metaphysical outlook in the world, all right? This is how people see them, getting their way through the world. They're going to force their way through the world. And it works. Make no mistake about it. The second metaphysical outlook on the world is a spiritual and mystical one. It has to do with an individual taking their internal, emotional, mental, subconscious, unconscious state and actually believing that this is the basis of how the world works. All right, but this is religion, okay? And it's this attempt to take their undirected, unconscious mind and say that this is the guiding force in the universe, right? You can understand why people would want to do that, right? It's like, I had a dream last night that everybody gave their money to me. It's like, this is a prophecy. This needs to come into, this needs to happen. It's like, yeah, well, good luck with that, And you can see how this is in contrast to the idea of physical force, right? Forcing your way in the universe, which is not all bad, right? Man adapts the environment and the world to his wants and to his needs, okay? So your social justice warrior out there with their movement, okay, which has some philosophy behind it, what are they doing? They're using force. They're using shame, okay? They're using punishment to get people to do what they want. These are your two basic outlooks. Understand that to both of these outlooks, the external world is really just a collection of objects. Even other people are simply objects. They're simply things that these people want. Everything gets reduced to an irreducible primary. It's a tree and you collect the fruit off of it. This works, doesn't it? I mean, this is pretty accurate, isn't it? Except when you're dealing with other people, right? They are not irreducible primaries. They are a world unto themselves. They are individual rights. They are freedom, okay? I have freedom of speech. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to follow it. But I have it. And the reason why it's important that you value and protect it is because if they can take it away from me, or if anybody can take it away from me, they can take it away from you. And freedom of speech is freedom of thought. Do you know that some cultures don't even have words for things like freedom? They don't even have the concept, right? You don't even think it. So if you can shut down the vocabulary, the speech of the individual, you can shut down the thought of the individual. And this brings us to our third metaphysical outlook on reality. And that, my friends, is the thinking, logical, rational human mind. And this has only come to the forefront in the last 400 or 500 years. And you know what upheaval and struggle it was to get it, to that place. This is the American Revolution. This is the French Revolution. This is human rights, okay? This is motivated self-interest. This is a non-aggression principle. This is you can't use force against someone else. This is epistemology. You have to support your own arguments. You can't just put them out there, okay? This is you have to show your work in math, right? Yeah, maybe you do have the right number, but maybe you copied it. So show me how you got there. Epistemology. It's the same with our logical arguments, right? A lot of guys are talking Mgtow Is and philosophy. Oh, yeah, right, okay? And this is why philosophy is important. So these are your three basic outlooks. And like I said, we shift between them, going back and forth, right, when it suits us. Like the man of force, the person of force, yeah, they can use logic. Of course they can, and of course they do, when it suits them. And the mystical person, oh yeah, they can use force, they can use logic, they can use shaming tactics, they can use in-group bias. When it suits their needs, when it suits their larger world view. Okay? So, where have we gone wrong? Where have we come up short? Why is this system crumbling? Why are men experiencing problems. What have we failed to do? What have we failed to take into account? Again, a lot of people are hearing these questions. They're like, no, Howard, you're not allowed to say that. Don't say that. How dare you? Like, well, there you go. That's why I call myself Howard Dare. Because we have come up short, okay? Something has gone wrong, right? And if things continue along this way, it's not going to work out for anybody, right? This is a great one. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, no, it's just about the man. No, it's about everybody. It's about individual rights. This is the philosophy. Okay, and I've, of course, been asking the question, do we need to step it up a stage, right? And we've been using, this term movement, and a lot of people are getting upset, right? Going to shut me down. I don't think so. Good luck with that. So you recognize that there's a problem, okay? There's a threat to the individual, rational, human mind. And you understand these other basic metaphysical outlooks on the world and how they lack an epistemological justification of their view, right? It's like, show me your work. Tell me why this is true. And the answer is, if you don't like it, we're going to hurt you. And the answer is, if you don't like it, you're going to burn in eternal damnation. So there is no epistemology of these first two worldviews, but there is an epistemology for the rational worldview, isn't there? And you can see it around you, can't you? Can you hear the plane going overhead right now? All right, well, that plane wouldn't fly unless the rational metaphysical outlook on the world had grounded principles within objective reality. Okay, you go to build something, you don't get it right, it doesn't stand up, does it? Okay? Now, maybe you're thinking this is some giant abstraction that I'm going off into, right? But hey, you wanted philosophy. It's not the giant abstraction, okay? It is the fundamental principle that your ideas, the things that you do, are founded and grounded in objective reality. Otherwise, they're not going to work, okay? And this is the same applied to your worldview, okay? You've got a gynocentric, sacrificial-based worldview. You know where that leads, don't you? A lot of you men know where that leads. Some of you younger men are just like, well, I'm angry and I'm unhappy. It's like, yeah, I get it, man. I don't blame you. You should be, right? But a lot of you older guys are like, I've got these scars. I've got these injuries. I walk with a limp. Okay, my financial future is pretty much, in the dirt because of this situation. I don't even want to tell you about my situation because, it would just, you'd become very angry, all right? But here I am, fighting, speaking, because it's that important. And the metaphysical mental understanding is that important. Look, you want to feed a hungry man? Give him a fish, okay? Teach him how to fish, and he's got food for the rest of his life, okay? You got a problem? Understand the problem, and you'll be able to, maneuver out of this problem. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm talking about. So, the rational, logical, individual rights-based worldview is the only thing that's sustainable. Understand, after metaphysics, worldview, after epistemology, we know it's true because we've put it to the test, comes ethics. What do? Now that we have these things in place, what do we do? How do we act? Okay? And the answer is we defend individual rights. We defend freedom. Okay? Because this is motivated self-interest. This is the engine of humanity. This is the engine of your life. So where have we gone wrong? what went off the tracks? You know, I put this question to somebody in the comments section, right? Really smart. I'm not going to name shame them, but this is the question. And, you know, a lot of people would say, oh, government, oh, media, oh, the educational system. It's like, yeah, sure. But those are the symptoms. That's what's crept in to the institutions, to the worldview, as a result of this greater, larger mistake. Some of you are, you know, some of you are aware of what I'm saying here, okay? Where have we gone wrong? And the answer is, we went wrong at the highest, most important level. We went wrong, and we were failed on the conceptual, philosophical level. That's what Mgtow is. It's giving men the tools to fight for their own individual lives and rights. And it's bigger than that, okay? Because it's not just your rights, it's not just my rights, it's the rights of all men. It's the rights of all human beings. This is the problem with the world. People don't have a metaphysical, epistemologically sound, ethically based philosophy. They just are consumers. They just want stuff. They just want group approval, okay? Let me tell you something. Drop it, okay? Get rid of it. It's not going to serve you, and if it does serve you today, it's going to turn against you tomorrow. It's nothing to build your foundation on. Build your foundation on your sound principles, on your sound values, on the things that will actually sustain you and make you strong and allow you to build a good life, right? And you see those things have been pulled out from under you, don't you? That's what, that's the effect of this problem, okay? And this is why Mgtow is so important, because it is the philosophical basis for man. Not just men, for all human beings. Men are under attack right now because men are the embodiment of these virtues, of these values. You are the embodiment of these virtues, of these values. These are not abstractions. These are real things in your life, okay? This is another philosophical concept, right? Subjectivism. Subjectivism is bullshit. Subjectivism is cultural Marxism, okay? It is the convenience of the Attila and of the mystic witch doctor. It is, well, whatever they want to feel, whenever they want to feel it. And the justification is it's all up to interpretation. It's all on how we view it. Is it? Is a tree up to your interpretation? Is a fire up to your interpretation? Is stepping off of the cliff up to your interpretation? Can we all look at it differently? Will some of us step off that cliff and fly? Will some of us step into the fire and not get burned? Okay? If the tree falls in a forest and hits you on the head, did it make a sound? There you go. And the answer, of course, to these questions is no, right? It is objective reality. And these ideas and things that we're talking about, that we just apply words to, have a concrete basis in objective reality. That's why we made the words. This is part of the basic idea of concept formation within the human mind. It's critical before the child can start to think that this concept formation part takes place. Now, at some stage, this process, this natural human healthy process, which allows us to question the system and the world around us, okay, gets subverted, gets taken over, gets inserted with social justice, gets inserted with cultural Marxism, gets inserted with subjectivism. Everybody has their opinion, yeah, sure, but they're not all valid. They don't all apply to the real world. They don't all work, do they? Okay? And men are seeing that this system, as it's being governed right now is not working for them. And I am here to tell you that it's not going to work for anybody. Okay, it's benefiting the majority right now, right? We sacrifice the men and their values and the virtues that built the system so that we can provide resources to an unworthy majority. And the group is like, yeah, this is a good thing, right? Right? Here's democracy, you know. 2 wolves and 1 sheep voting on what to have for dinner, okay? What happens if 51% of the people vote to take away the rights of 49% of the people? Because that's what you're looking at as a man. Is it, right? Hey, it's only fair, right? Majority rule, right? No, wrong. You know it's wrong. This is what we're talking about here. It's like, well, Howard, I just want to see a girl, you know, from a TikTok video dancing around and mouthing off. That's just the farthest level expression of the actual principles that we're trying to deal with right now. So yeah, Mgtow is a philosophy, but it's stated as if it's a movement, right? Because feminism, right? Now that's a movement, isn't it? Okay? It's not grounded in the objective world. It's not true. Men have not been oppressing women for thousands of years. We are a sexually dimorphic species, okay? This is the way of nature. You might as well grow antlers. You might as well turn into a salmon swimming upstream. That's how strong and powerful these forces are. They're biological. They're built in, right? So, you know, they can determine their own gender, right? Can they determine their own biology? We can switch their hormones up, can't we? But the basic biology is still there. Men can't have children. And women, you know, can't really tolerate the whole testosterone level of a man without losing all female reproductive capabilities. It's biological. It's built in. It's grounded in objective reality. Not what you think, not what you feel, not what you hope for, not what you wish for, but here in the real world. And this is the basis of our mastery over this world. And these ideas have been twisted and perverted and manipulated to serve people who have no understanding of any of this. You, as a man, need to wrap your head around this. You need to wrap your head around the metaphysical interpretation of the world, of the epistemological justification of the situation, of sustainable ethics that will actually allow you to move forward in the right way in a positive direction. Philosophy, Mgtow. Now, here's the problem. The message isn't getting out. It's coming in too late. The failure, the reason why we're in all this trouble is a failure of the philosopher, of getting these ideas out there and enshrined in the national human psyche as to what these principles are. These principles are individual rights. These principles are freedom. These principles are objective reality and sustainable ethics, not just the individual man's anger. Imagine, if you will, okay, that they're going to put you in front of the cameras and they're going to ask you, what is Mgtow? And if you get angry and if you let them lead you around like a bull by the nose, people are going to scoff and laugh and ridicule and shame the idea of Mgtow, because that's what they're doing right now, my friends. But now imagine that you're a thoughtful, intelligent, well-spoken person with sharp, intelligent, clear arguments, and you get to present your views. What have you just accomplished? You've saved lives, okay? You've changed the future course of history. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about saving humanity. And, good news, this is about saving your individual life. That means you, okay? We'll start with you. We'll start with me. Because if we give up the individual, right, we give it all up. And that's the recurring theme. That's the mantra that this system repeats over and over again. And it is, give it up, surrender, go along, be part of the group, be part of the herd, reap the advantages of the majority, even if 51% have voted to destroy the rights of 49%. You know this is true, okay? This is what all men are created equal means, okay? That we all have individual rights. Understand this principle. Make room and allowances for these ideas. Understand where we failed, where we came up short. You know, there's a school of swordsmanship, okay? Sword of no sword. And the deal is, your first year in this particular school of swordsmanship, you are not allowed to get in any fights with any of the other schools, with any of the other students. Why? Because they're being taught how to draw the sword, how to make the cut, how to block, right? Sword of no sword, that's not what they're focusing on for the first year. They're focusing on the ideas, the concepts, the principles of confrontation. So after the first year, the student encounters a student from one of the other schools, and they're very eager to fight, right? They're very eager to lay it down. They're very eager to get angry. And they confront a student from Sword of no sword. And what do? Well, they get to determine whether or not this fight is even worth having, okay? So, the story is, right, they're on the ship and the, unruly, Ronin wants to have a duel with the well-known swordsman. And the well-known swordsman says, yeah, that'll be fine, but we can't really do it on the ship here. There's other people around. There's really not enough room. Let's go over to one of those islands that are nearby. And the guy's like, yeah, okay, that's fine. And he says, okay, go ahead, get into the rowboat, and I'll get in, and we'll go over there and fight. So the guy gets in the rowboat, and he just unties the rowboat from the boat, and the boat just floats away. Some fights are not worth having, you know what I mean? Caesar is coming across Europe, and he's coming to Rome, and he's going to take over because he's sick and tired of things not working. Right? I was there, right? I have this personal insight. No, not really, but this is the gist of it, right? And he's approached at this time, and he's told, "Hey, man, there's a critical situation happening there over in Great Britain. We got to get over there and take care of that." And he's like, "No. I don't care what's happening over there in Great Britain. It's not important. What's important is that I, cross the Rubicon with the army. That's what's important." So, what's important, Mgtow? You want to have a fight? You want to get angry? Or do you want to build the basis for the future of humanity and for yourself? And that is philosophy. And that is not necessarily getting angry. And that is not necessarily using in-group bias to shame people to go along with your limited world view. Okay? Expand, grow, build. That's what I want for you guys. That's what I want for myself. In any case, I'm going to leave it at that for now, okay? Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, donate to worthy causes, and join me again, Howard Dare, as I hope to have more content for you. Thank you, Mgtow.